everyone, so the lockdown boredom has officially hit me and I thought this would be a fun idea to try and predict the upcoming week of Premier League football games, so that is game week 19. Now this video really could go one of two ways. I could watch it back and be really impressed with myself, maybe I'll get one or two right, or I could watch it back and get every single one wrong and be really embarrassed. But like I said, this is just for fun, so I'd love to know your guys' predictions in the comments, whether you agree or disagree with me, and let's get into the video. So the first game of the weekend is of course Wolves versus West Brom, Saturday 12:30, early kickoff. This is going to be an interesting one. Both teams are really struggling for form at the moment. Wolves haven't won a game since mid-December when they beat Chelsea, and West Brom have not won a game since November. They also have Sheffield United creeping up on them, and they just won their first league game of the season, so they are slowly creeping up on them. They're going to be worried, they're going to want to win this game. Now, I know West Brom did recently draw to Manchester City and Liverpool, which was really impressive considering they are 19th in the table and Liverpool and City are right up at the top. So this is a really hard one to call. I'm going to go for a Wolves 2-1 win just because they're at home and I think they've got a bit more quality than West Brom. So yeah, 2-1 to Wolves. The next game is West Ham versus Burnley. Another really tight game in my opinion. I think this one could go either way. Both teams are in pretty good form. I know West Ham have only lost one in their last 6 league games, and they are also sitting comfortably in 10th place in the table, which is really good for them because usually they are a lot lower at this stage in the season. So this one for me, it's really difficult to call. I know Burnley have won quite impressively at the Olympic Stadium in the last couple of years with that 3-0 win a couple of years ago. So this one's really difficult to call. I'm going to go for a boring 1-1 draw though. Next up we have Leeds versus Brighton. Now Brighton are going through an injury crisis. They don't have Danny Welbeck, they don't have Lallana, their goalie is out I believe still, and they are also missing Tariq Lamptey, which is a huge blow for them. I personally think Tariq Lamptey is their best player. I love watching him, I'd love to see him at Arsenal one day. So yeah, they are going through a bit of a nightmare there. And Leeds are coming into this game having lost 3-0 to Crawley Town. Yeah, Crawley Town. They brought on reality star Mark Wright in the last couple of minutes. It was bad. So Leeds are going to want to come and win this game impressively. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Leeds. So the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday is Fulham versus Chelsea. Now, if you'd asked me a week ago who would win this game, I would have said Chelsea, hands down. Fulham aren't that great, but Fulham have just drawn really impressively to Spurs a couple of days ago. In the second half they looked really strong, they drew 1-1, and I do think they will score against Chelsea. I know Chelsea have a bit of a leaky defence at times, and I do believe Fulham will score. However, I think Chelsea have a bit more quality up front and that they will win this game 2-1. The next game is Leicester versus Southampton. Now, I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. Both teams are in great form, only 3 points separate them in the table. Either of these teams have a great shot at winning this. However, having said that, last night it came out that Danny Ings has tested positive for coronavirus. I think it was a week ago, so he is a doubt for this game, and I think that could really be an advantage for Leicester. I think Leicester could have the edge on this one. But I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. So I was just about to give my prediction for the Aston Villa versus Everton game, but I can't find it, so I think it's been postponed because obviously Aston Villa's first team tested positive for coronavirus and have been self-isolating for the past 10 days. They would have only had 1 day training for this game, and that really just wouldn't have been fair. Everton are in great form as well, so I think it's a good thing that this game has been postponed. The next game of the weekend is of course Sheffield United versus Tottenham Hotspur, so I thought I would just quickly put this on as I got a little cold whilst doing this one. So this is going to be a pretty boring game, I think. I think Tottenham are going to win this one. Sheffield United have just finally won their first league game. They beat Newcastle 1-0. I bet their fans are buzzing to not be that team that never won a game the whole season. They've done it. I think this is going to be quite an easy game for Spurs, unfortunately. I'd love to see Sheffield United win, but I am actually going to go for a 3-0 Tottenham win. Next up we have arguably the biggest game of the weekend. It's Liverpool at home to Manchester United. Now, Man United are in great form. They've been winning away from home. They are top of the table with Liverpool just underneath them. But Liverpool are going through a bit of a rough patch. They lost to Southampton last time out. They drew to Newcastle. They drew to West Brom, which are lower side teams. They should be winning those games for sure. So this one is so hard to call. Liverpool always turn up at home, but I don't know if they're going to do it this time. They are in such bad form for Liverpool. So I'm actually going to go for a 1-0 win to Manchester United, which kind of breaks my heart. But yeah, 1-0 to Man United. Let's hope it's not a boring one. Next up we have Man City versus Crystal Palace. Now, Man City have been quietly climbing the table the last few weeks. They are now currently only 4 points off top spot with a game in hand to Villa. So essentially, they could just be 1 point off Man United, which is kind of exciting. I love how tight it is this season. Really, anyone could win it at this stage. So it's great to see them climbing back up. I think this is going to be a really easy game for City, unfortunately. Crystal Palace lost 7-0 recently to Liverpool. I think City are going to put a few past them with the quality they've got up front. I think Foden will get a goal. Maybe someone else, I don't know. Maybe Foden will literally score a hat-trick. I think he's on fire at the moment. So I'm going to go for 3-0 to City. So the last game of this game week is, of course, Arsenal versus Newcastle. So obviously, we recently played Newcastle in the FA Cup and we won in extra time 2-0 with Aubameyang and Emile Smith-Rowe scoring. The first 90 minutes of that game were so frustrating. We just could not score. Tierney was putting cross after cross after cross into the box and nobody was scoring. It was so frustrating. And obviously last night, Crystal Palace, same story. No Tierney this time, but still, we were not clinical enough. We didn't score and it was a boring 0-0 draw. I really don't want to see that this weekend. Well, Monday night actually. I want to get an early goal. I want to finish the game off and I just don't want to see Arsenal playing boring football. So I've got my fingers crossed for this one. I think we will win. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Arsenal. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed listening to my predictions for Game Week 19 of the Premier League. I'd love to know your predictions, so please do comment them down below in the comment section, and I hope you all have a really nice weekend.